All right, guys, what is up? It is time. We are back with another glorious battle. We are playing Total War Rome 2, and this is going to be an interesting fight. Now, I know recently, if we look at the settlement here, we have fought at this settlement before recently. Like, we watched a replay of it. But this one's a little bit different because this one is a 3 versus 2. So we have 3 attackers, 2 defenders. Now, if you look at the balance of power, it's pretty heavily in favor of the attackers. The attackers being the red part and the yellow part being the defenders. It's not insanely high, but it's still a very high, amount of balance of power. So what's interesting about this map is this section right here. Now, I think, in my personal opinion, the best way to win a battle on this map is to lay everything on the line right here. Okay, and the reason for that, and I'll do some slow motion here as we analyze this, but the reason for that is because you can concentrate everybody in a small space. You can fight everyone in a small space. And all the armies are coming this way. They are all attacking this wall, and I think if you contain the opponents here, contain the enemy, use the high ground over here with archers, hold strategic choke points in these areas, I think you can win. I think you can win because you're gonna force, even though they have more troops, you're gonna force them to be fighting in a smaller space. And I think it's going to work out nicely. And these players already, the attackers, looking like they're doing a good job. They've got Thracian bowmen already lighting the arrow towers on fire, at least attempting to. So they're going to try to take out those arrow towers, which is a smart play. They already took out the artillery with fire arrows, which is a good play there as well. So I think this is the map to do it. They do have some reserves way back here. I just think that, yes, okay, you can fall back here, right? And, you can use these choke points back here. But the problem here is that if you fall back here, they're going to have the high ground here. They're going to use archers. They are 3 armies. If you have a max 4 archer rule, they can have 4 more archers, so I don't know the exact rules for this battle, but that's something to consider. So I think if you fight up here, you kind of eliminate some of the archer play. Now, they can still get up here and fire at you, but I still think this is the best place to put everything on the line. I might be wrong. Who knows? Maybe the defenders will completely fall back and win a different way, or maybe they'll lose. Who knows? But anyways, let's play it and see how this one plays out. Let me know down in the comments what you think about, really quick here, we'll do slow motion, what you think is going to play out here. How do you think it's going to play out? Do you think if you were in the defense defensive position, do you think, or army, do you think it would be better to hold up here, or would it have been better to fall back here, or maybe hold a little bit here, then fall back and hold a little bit here? Just let me know. I'm curious what you guys think. I think personally it's better to just put everything on the line and hold this outer area against these armies. So anyways, let's look at the factions here. So we have the Adrician Kingdom. They are pushing up multiple units of Thracian warriors and mercenary foxmen. I always struggle with that word. I always want to say flax. It's Foxmen. Anyways, these units are pretty weak to archer fire, so it's almost better to create some space, and that way you can fire down. It looks like that's what the defenders are doing. Next up we have Swaby, and Swaby's pushing up a ton of sword masters, just sword infantry. He's got some blood sworn in there as well. So they're going to rely on heavy numbers, just shock tactics, overwhelming the defenders. And then we have the Egyptians. The Egyptians are hanging back. They're not pushing forward. So that's a little bit of a surprise, because if you do have the advantage in numbers, you want to use that advantage and you want to try to get as many troops in there as possible in a reasonable way. You don't want them all in one tiny area, but you want to spread them out, try to get as many troops around here as possible. Anyways, let's press play and Let's see what happens with the attackers. Are they going to sit here? Because the Thracians are a little bit early. And it looks like that's what they are doing. They're sitting here. Ooh, good artillery. That's a smart play from the attackers. If you're going to see the defenders clump up their troops, definitely go for it. But I think that was an accidental shot. I think they were going for the walls here. Oh, just misses. Hits these huts over here. Like drying huts or something. I don't know what these are. Here comes another volley of fiery balls of justice coming down. Looks like they're now going for the archers potentially, but again, they could just be going for the walls. They are breaking down the walls. I don't think that's a big deal for the defenders. I really don't, because they have so many siege towers. It doesn't matter. They're going to flow in like crazy anyways. Here we go. First troops on the walls, and sure enough, they are getting pelted to death. And that's usually normal for you know, the first wave, but it's especially bad for these troops that are pretty decent in close combat and very bad at taking skirmish fire. You know, they're not very well armed. They don't you know, have a lot of they don't have any shields. So yeah, they're definitely weak there. And this unit's already down to 113, which really isn't that bad. But their full unit isn't on the walls yet. So they're only fighting with partially the unit, so they're gonna get focused down. So yeah, very good there. Swaby pushing up some troops as well. Swaby is sending in the sword masters. These guys are definitely better at withstanding skirmish fire. And very good play here by Swaby to move these siege towers over to this side. Try to stretch out the defense. Don't make it so concentrated and easier for the defenders to micro against your forces. And sure enough, they're already breaking, guys. The attackers, the Odrysian kingdom. Oh, by the way, I didn't say the defenders' armies. My bad. It's Pergamon, which is like a Greek faction, and we have Arverni. They are obviously a barbarian Germanic faction. All right, so here comes more and more troops from Swaby. Speaking of another Germanic faction, they are, Germanic. Yeah. Anyways, they're pushing forward. Swordmasters going in. They're already down to 104. Now he is just utterly just releasing death. Look at this. Look at the projectiles coming in. This is insane. He's just releasing hate, throwing down hate on the enemies. And it's working nicely. The only concern is how do they need to preserve their ammo? They're obviously going to need a lot of ammo, and you don't want to use it all at once, but hey, swordmasters are pretty good, and killing them from a distance is a pretty big win. And here we go. He should have sent in the Bloodsworns first, or even Club Levy. Send in the Club Levy first, absorb that ammo, then send in the Swordmasters. Yeah, show them how real men fight. Mercenary Folksmen going in with 156 men. Looks like there's a little bit of disruption in the lines here. I'm not sure what's going on. Looks like they're trying to do a flanking maneuver, but these spears are open to a potential counter flank by the Swordmasters, but they don't take it. Okay, now we got some Thracian warriors charging in. So this is just the massive wave of troops. They finally are starting to funnel in their numbers, and sure enough, here's the counter charge. Mercenary Folksmen getting behind these spears. The good news, though, is that they're winning over here. This spear unit, you can't lose them like this. When you're outnumbered like this, you cannot throw units away and put them in bad positions to where they don't fight to their fullest potential. And thankfully, he should be able to save these spears and get them in the better position. But no, he's just kind of going in. And now we have archer fire coming down. And again, archer fire, not a big deal because... And this is the reason why, another reason why I think they should hold the outer part of the defense of the settlement is because archers, they're having a tough time getting an angle on them. I guess they could go this way and try to get a little bit of a side angle, but even from here, most of your arrows are going to land front into the shields. So they're definitely going to lose troops to arrow fire, but it's not going to be as bad as if the archers were directly on their side. You know, and that could be possible in these other areas of the battlefield. Anyways, let's get back at it, where this front line is getting very juicy, very spicy, where we have Galatian swords fighting for Pergamon, trying to hold back these Thracian warriors. And these Thracian warriors are down to 76 men, but they will fight on for a long time. They are very good warriors, but again, very weak to archer fire, so you want to try to play that against them. And Swaby's in the mix as well with some Bloodsworn. There's a little bit of a gap here. It's not too big, but you got to watch out for that. And it looks like, wow, they are pushing very aggressively. But look at the carnage over here. Mostly dead attackers. But they are now funneling through the choke points. Now we have Arverni with chosen swordsmen already in the front line fighting them off. And there we go. Oh my goodness. Arverni, Celtic warriors breaking to the Swordmasters. But Arverni is holding over here. Oh my god, behind you, dude. You can't hold this flank and then you gotta send these troops in, contain these guys. This is an important choke point. You know, this is a defensive position. Can't give it up, and that's what's happening. These guys are gonna get surrounded. The chosen swordsmen are going to get surrounded here, and this could be disaster for the defenders. They need, it's too late now, because very wisely Swaby sent up some Bloodsworn to contain these chosen swordsmen, prevent them from pushing up and preventing this this flank here. So yeah, this is a problem. This is a problem. Let's see if he's winning anywhere else. It looks like he's got more reserves over here of Oathsworn. Wow, he's got some really good units. Hopefully he's not sending in his best first. I mean, I guess it's not too terrible, but... And now Egypt is in the mix, and it's very good that they finally shown up. They're a little late to the party, but all I see is Egypt here, and that's a problem. Because, you know, the Odrysian Kingdom and Swaby, their troops are gone now. You know? They're gone now. Egypt has kind of clumped his troops in a blob, and this is giving Pergamon and Arverni an opportunity to kind of surround them, which is huge. And look at this, he's even pushed up troops to the walls. This is pretty smart. I wouldn't leave them here to defend, but just getting them up here to throw at the reserves, you know? And they're shooting arrows at these guys. Not only are these guys heavily armored, but also the arrows have a tough time landing here because of the wall. It's a smaller zone to where you can hit the enemy. So this is a huge win for the defenders, but over here, I'm still a little concerned about this unit here. These chosen swordsmen have only gotten 46 kills, and they are surrounded. That's a waste of money. You know, if we're breaking down this game from a, you know, what you get out of the unit for its price, this is a losing unit. Now, the good news is that reinforcements are on the way with some Oathsworn. They need to get there quick. And right there, I think they just saved the day. This 46, even though it's... Oh, they're taking on Berserkers too. They're now down to... Wait. They're down to 81. Did I say 46? Oh, they have 46 kills. But now they can all focus on this front line. Their kills are going to go up, and it's already going up. So that's good for Arverni. They have cleared out this area. This attack here was not well timed by Swaby. I think he should have waited until they've made more progress over to this front. But Egypt is pouring in now. And finally, the Odrysian Kingdom is sending up reinforcements. It's almost, see, this is the biggest mistake, I think, so far with the attackers, is that they're attacking at different times. They need to, all three of them need to attack at the same time. They need to all three have units in the settlement to overwhelm the defenders, because right now, it just seems like they're going in one at a time. You got Odrysian Kingdom, they went in. Swaby went in after the Odrysian Kingdom. Then Swaby sent over troops over here much later. Again, I think they should have waited, actually. So this you could argue was too early. But there's still a ton of troops here. But, you know, looking at it, the Odrysian Kingdom still has a lot of infantry. And it's like he just brought Thracian nobles. That's another thing I do not recommend. And a lot of people have rules against this, where you can only bring, like, it depends who you ask, but bring like 6, 7 of a same unit. Bringing an entire army of one unit is a recipe for disaster, because especially for Thracian nobles are very one-dimensional, where they're very good in close combat. They're very good at charging enemies. But if you don't do that and you leave these guys out in the open for archer fire, it's going to be easy pickings. And the Odrysian Kingdom didn't bring any infantry that was heavily armored. Now, they did bring some archers, so that's good on them. But yeah, I do not recommend bringing only one unit. And that's why I really liked Medieval 2, is because that game naturally prevented that in a way that makes sense historically. You know, like so the way Medieval 2 worked, if you've never played it, if you bring more of a certain item, so for example, feudal knights, if you bring more than 4 feudal knights, the 5th one costs more expensive than the first 4. And then it just goes up and up and up, meaning you're not getting the most cost effectiveness out of it. It promotes players to diversify their army and save money, which is what you want to do. And historically speaking, that makes sense. If you have an entire army of knights, that's going to be really expensive. You know, that's going to be super expensive. So, and plus medieval armies were not entire armies of knights. You know, they had men-at-arms, they had peasants, they had, whatever, you know, but it was mostly lower tier, type, like, I don't want to say citizens, but, subjects. But here we go. More skirmish fire coming down from the defenders. They are just crushing this attack right now. They're crushing this attack. They're no longer using the siege towers, which is a huge, huge mistake here. This is definitely given hope for the defenders. Look at this. It's only Egypt in here. A little bit of Swaby. Egypt's getting surrounded over here. Or no, they're not getting surrounded, but they are getting double teamed. And archer fire, see the perfect angle for archer fire, causing that unit to break. I mean, this is kind of falling apart. I don't think it's over for the attackers. Clearly it's not. The balance of power still, if not more in favor, in the balance of power compared to the start of the battle. But they should be sending up these units of infantry, to these siege towers. Why are you just using the breach? And the only thing I can think of right now is that maybe it's a pathfinding mistake, and they try to use the siege towers, but it forces them to go up the breach. That's definitely happened in Rome too. It's definitely happened. But the way to get around that is to, at least in my opinion, I don't know, maybe there's better ways. Send the unit as close as possible to the siege tower, and usually they go up the siege tower. And make sure they go like right here, but I'm not really seeing them trying to do that. I don't think they have any intention of using the siege tower. They don't even have their infantry close nearby here to reinforce this fight over here. And they're just, basically what they're doing is sending their army in piecemeal in one specific area, which is giving the players on defense the opportunity to concentrate all of their armies, all of their troops in that one area. They are not going to fall. They are not going to crack like this. So the attackers need to change their strategy very soon. Very soon. I mean, look, he still has a lot of reserves over here. I see the defenders they know what's up. They've got all these troops sitting here. Why? Because the siege towers are still here. They could still easily hit, like, hey, he's not paying attention. Let's send a couple troops up here and get behind him. You could still do that. I don't think he needs all these troops here. You could probably leave 1 or 2 units just to watch and hold it back. But yeah, this feels like a big blunder by the attackers, and it doesn't seem like the attackers didn't know what they were doing. The Adrician Kingdom, right out of the gate, burnt down this ballista. That's a smart play, and they tried to burn down the arrow tower, which arrow towers with fire arrows, it takes a long time, so it might not be cost effective. It might be better to just use that ammo killing infantry. Now we have archers charging in. Egypt still in the front line. Egypt is, hey, they are putting a dent in the defense, I would say, but they are starting to break here, which is a problem. And yeah, there's really not that many reserves. See, look at this, look at this. See, the attackers can still capitalize on this. As many blunders or mistakes the attackers have made, they can still succeed from this, because what we're seeing here is like a sense of confidence from the defenders that the fight's only going to happen here. Excuse me. The fight's only going to happen here. And more troops are being peeled away from the siege towers. So, hey, now would be a good time to get on those siege towers, and there we go. Nice. I think he's doing it. I think he's finally doing it. So he's gonna push up the Thracian nobles to the siege towers, and sure enough, okay, good on our, good on the defender here. Chosen swordsman being sent over. They might need more troops, but yeah, there they go. They're sending more, and yeah, they've got everything. I mean, everything is up here, and this is definitely close. I mean, it's kind of crazy to see how close it is. Uh-oh, what?
Warriors, move out!
Uh-oh. Oh no, what are you doing? Why wouldn't they just go to like these arrow towers? Okay, see, that definitely right there looked like a pathfinding issue. You know, that definitely looked, because they did go up to the siege towers, and now they're just running, you know, horizontally, you know, or not. I don't know. Why are they? I would still be trying to send a unit or so up there. This is a costly mistake. There we go. Swaby's going over here. That's good on them. Let's see if they can get up here. And guys, that's another reason. That's another reason right there. You've got to be careful with destroying walls like this. You really do. And look, you can argue, hey, it's a bug, but it's part of the game. And CA is not going to fix it. All right, their current games, their newest games are littered with bugs. They are not going to fix it, so it's part of the game, and you've got to just kind of deal with it. So I personally wouldn't have destroyed this wall. You know, I would have just used the artillery ammo on killing the huge blob of infantry that was originally over here, and just use the siege towers. There's so many siege towers. You don't need to destroy the walls. So by destroying this wall, it has created, I assume, a pathfinding issue where the defenders want, like, naturally the AI wants to take this path. But Swaby has finally got his troops up on the towers. This is what the Adrician Kingdom needs to do right now on the other side of this settlement. Spread out these defenders, because they are running thin in the center. They're running thin over here. Let's see if if they send it, excuse me. Let's see if the Adrician Kingdom sends anything over there. Still nothing. They're just sitting there, which is, I feel like it's going to be a costly mistake. And Pergamon is doing well. They're recovering. At one point, it looked like Egypt had them on the ropes, but Egypt broke. Pergamon recovered, and they are going to continue to fight off the masses here. And we have the Pergamon general. That's a good sign to the attackers that, hey, they're running out of troops. If we just spread out their defense, we can win this. The archers in the back here. Oh, no, these are pike. Ooh, he still has pikemen. That's going to be a problem. But he's got some archers, Gaelic hunters back here. So they're just kind of softening up the attackers. We got chosen swordsmen moving in. unit. Oh yeah, there we go. He's going to reinforce this fight over here, which is smart. They definitely need more troops over in the center, and again, more the reason for the attackers to flank around. Spread out their troops. Don't let them concentrate their forces. And hey, some good news here. It does look like our Vernie is breaking. What are these, berserkers? Oh yeah, he's got berserkers on the loose right now. He's got more berserkers over here. So he went with a full-on berserker charge. And he does have one more unit of Celtic warriors, but they are going to struggle against these berserkers. The balance of power is still really bad and getting worse for the defenders. But I still think the defenders can win this one just by the mere fact, you know, the simplest of maneuvers is not being used, which is flanking around. You know, I look at this battlefield, and sure, Swaby is kind of broken through here, but they could easily push some troops that way. I mean, they could push this unit that way and clean it out really quick. Maybe they want the berserkers to fall into a trap here a little bit. You know, if they charge into pikemen or they run into any... Because you definitely want to kill berserkers from afar. You don't want to kill them up close because they're probably going to kill more of your guys than you are of them. So you want to try to kill them from a distance. But yeah, I mean, if I was the attackers, I'd be like, see you later? See you later, please? Please? You can just go capture the base. Why are you charging into pikemen? Oh, man. That's a tragic loss. Tragic loss from the attacking side. Now, the only thing I can think of is maybe they had a rule. Oh, Dressian Kingdom. Why? He's sending in his Thracian. I mean, it's only 2, but it seems like a bit of a blob charge here, which is never good. So the only thing I can think of is maybe the players had a rule that you cannot go for the capture point. I've definitely seen players like that. I personally don't like doing that because, well, it's part of the game. Unless I'm doing like a special historical scenario. But if I'm just playing your typical online battle, the capture point should always be considered. You know, like it should always be part of the game. Because it's just, you know, I mean, it's part of the game. You know, you capture the capture point. It's like equivalent of you taking, you know, the most important buildings in the settlement and the people losing complete morale. But I think, okay, the berserkers here well, they're dead. They're down to 5. They'll keep fighting because they're berserkers, but yeah, it's not looking good. That advantage they had here with the berserkers is gone. You know, excuse the fact, you know, that they could have easily ran up this way and captured this. And like, maybe they wouldn't have captured it. Maybe, you know, the defenders would have chased and prevented it, but you still would have peeled units away from the front line. It would have caused chaos. But let's excuse that. Let's say, hey, okay, maybe the rule is you can't capture the capture point. What I would have done with these berserkers is what he's doing right now is just waiting. Just wait. Use the arrow towers to get some kills. If he wants to charge you and take on your berserkers, stand your ground. But if he's just going to sit there, just sit there too and wait for an opportunity, a weak moment, a weak spot in their defense and push in the berserkers. I think that would have been an easier play. But again, this is always hindsight, guys. And I want to make this clear. I don't say this stuff to bash players or anything like this, because it's always easier for me, who's not even playing in this battle, to watch it and look at everything wrong. Trust me, when I play, I make mistakes all the time. Okay, so it's always easier to be, you know, a backseat general, so to speak, in these types of battles. But I do like to point them out just for, you know, if you guys are trying to learn how to play the game, or if you want more ideas about certain situations, that kind of thing. But this is a good move by Egypt. They've sent up their pikemen. They definitely need to take care of that. The Egyptian pikes are going to be pretty dangerous. Hopefully they save their ammo for it. It looks like they still have ammo. They got their bows out. But yeah. Oh, Pergamon's general is down. The balance of power is not looking good. It's pretty much coming down to Arverni. Pergamon is almost out of the game. They are down with 2 units, a pikeman unit and picked Peltis. Ooh, this isn't good because I have a fear for the defenders that they don't really have an answer for the pikemen. Now, they do have pikemen for Pergamon. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Are these pikes over here? It's another royal guard from Egypt. And they're trying to funnel in against pikes? Oh my god. No guts, no glory. That's true. That's true. All right, let's zoom out here. It's 10 minutes left in this replay. Now, it looks scary for the defenders in terms of like numbers here, but let's keep in mind that a lot of the troops left here for Arverni are very good units of infantry. Lots of Oathsworn, lots of chosen swordsmen. These are the top of the crop, you know. These are the cream de beam, whatever. They are the best, okay? So I've seen this many times before. Arverni Oathsworn, or Oathsworn in general, just like slaughter entire armies, you know? Especially in late game when there's a lot of, you know, tired troops and depleted troops. I can't believe he's still trying to charge into here. Why are you still trying to charge here? This is insane. And where's the Egyptian pikes? Oh my god. The pikes are gonna expose their backs. Arverni, what are you doing? Get these guys in here. Do not face the pikemen head on. The pikemen have pushed way too far. Way too far. And here he goes, here he goes. He's gonna get behind him finally. That's it. The pikemen are done for. Because pikemen are very good when they only have to hold one direction, obviously. Pikemen are done for. That's good news for the defenders. Finally, here we go. Here we go. Egypt, Egypt, Egypt. The smart play. He's going for the capture point. So that is not a rule that the players agreed to. Now the general is chasing after him. I don't know if I would send the general, but maybe that's all he has. You know, the general is has some good abilities that could help the front line. But what's your front line? It's pikemen. Look at this. They're just still running into pikemen. What are you doing, Swaby? What are you doing? Use the towers. I mean, he did it earlier. He used these arrow towers. And here we go. Odrysian Kingdom. I think he's learning. Go to these arrow towers. Use the arrow towers. Oh, I see. He's still having pathfinding issues. Maybe. I can't say that for certainty. He might have saw the Oathsworn moving over this way, and he's like, never mind. But still, even then, it's better than charging headfirst into pikemen. All right, so now, I'm having a tough time believing this right now. Like, I'm having a really tough time believing this because... Is he still charging? No, 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 no. Okay, definitely, I agree with moving up the pikemen up here because the pikemen can counter the defending pikes. But why send the Thracian nobles? But anyways, what I'm looking here, it looks like the attackers, by the way they are running up and capturing this town center, it looks really desperate. Now, I did mention they should have done that earlier, but as more of a tactical move, you know, like as more of like a, hey, let's cause them to freak out and retreat a bunch of troops. In this manner, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's the same idea here with this troop here. But in this way, now it's so late in the game, this feels like desperation. This feels like they don't think they can win this battle, even though the balance of power is in favor of their side by 75%. I mean, look at all the reserves over here. Look at, he still has all these Thracian nobles. And we're getting into a stage of the battle where archers are running out of ammo. So it's harder and harder to kill these Thracian nobles from a distance. So if these troops can get up in close and personal, or even, you know, get off a good charge, they can easily defeat what's left of the defenders. So I don't know what's going on. I think the Adrician Kingdom's desperately trying to use these siege towers. Back over this way, we got a little bit of an archer v archer battle, which is pretty cool. Which the Gallic hunters are winning. The general has won over here as well, so that's all been eliminated. So really, what this is going to come down to is the Adrician Kingdom. And so we're going to fast forward a little bit. I'm not going to edit it out. I'm just going to fast forward because we're not really watching anything. So, okay. Let me make this clear. I think the fact that he went back for these siege towers is clear proof that he's having pathfinding issues. I think they're all having pathfinding issues, but I would have done this way sooner. I would have used these siege towers way sooner. Out of just pure desperation. You know, this would have been my last try instead of just charging into this this gap here. And again, gotta be careful with knocking down walls in Rome 2. Sometimes it helps you out a lot. Sometimes it destroys your attack. And I feel like that's what's happened here. And I don't know why he's still sending units in here. How many kills does Pike? 683 kills. And counting. What? Why are you sending more? Do not send anything here until they move these pikemen. Yeah, don't feed the pikemen. Okay, there we go. He's using the siege tower. Is gonna go after the gaps he didn't use yet. And now he is charging out with his Thracian nobles. And now we've got some spear nobles making their way over here. We've got some cav. This is the general waiting in reserve. But this is it. It's all going to come down to the Thracian nobles. Can they win it here? Can they win it here?
What are we, brothers?
Now my question is, do the Thracian okay, they do have their general, which is, well, a Thracian noble unit. What a shocker. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah. Like, you can definitely complain about bugs, but it's part of the game, and you got to deal with it. Sometimes there's certain bugs in the game where it's just over the top unfair, and you can easily avoid them. But anything dealing with the wall, you can't really avoid. So you gotta just deal with it. And I'm not saying this is over. I mean, it certainly could be over for the defenders, but I don't think it should have been this close. I don't think we should be in the spot where we are now, all because they destroyed a tiny section of the wall with their artillery. That's the only reason. All because of that. I think could have potentially lost them the battle. But it's not over. I mean, we got some troops breaking here.
Hold on.
We got some troops breaking here. Now here's another question for you guys. Do you think Arverni should be holding up here? A part of me thinks maybe they should fall back and try to use as many arrow towers as possible as they like run by them. And here comes Egypt. Wait, is Egypt using a siege tower? I think they used a siege tower to get up here. So some of the siege towers are working. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so I do think the defenders are going to lose this one.
Back, warriors, back!
Oh, and there's elephants? Oh my god, no wonder. But if they can kill, some generals, there might be a chance. If these elephants run amok and just kill a bunch of their own troops, there's still a chance. I don't really see it, but yeah, I think that's game. But what a hell of a defense! What a hell of a defense! That was crazy. Yeah, I was. What do you think the defenders should have done better? You know, what could they have done? Let's just pretend, you know, everything played out the same way in terms of how they attacked. You know, they destroyed this wall. You know, they used all these siege towers and everything. What could they have done to win this battle? Because I think because the defenders had such a huge advantage, they had plenty of room for error. But I think the defenders, maybe if they have fallen back over here or fallen back, you know, back to this town center. Now, I did say, hey, you should hold everything here during this whole battle. But, you know, towards the end, it was just Thracian nobles. And it's tough. It's tough. Thracian nobles are just a tough unit to deal with, especially if you don't have archers. You know, because if you give them too much space, they're going to get off a charge. If you, you know, don't give any space, there's no room for, you know, arrow tower fire. But yeah, what a great battle from the defenders. And a great battle from the attackers as well. They prevailed even though they made a ton of mistakes there. But it wasn't, you know, it wasn't, they weren't brain dead. You know, like I said, it's so easy to watch these replays and judge and point everything out they did wrong when you're not playing real time. But again, I'm not saying I'm better or anything like that. I'm just trying to point out mistakes. That way you guys can see them and learn from them. But anyways, this was sent in by Lord Unicorn. Thank you for the battle replays. Submitted it into my Discord. You guys can do that with Epic Battle Replays. You just need to contact an admin and say, hey, I've got a replay. So be sure to do that. So thank you, Lord Unicorn. And GG to all the players. Really good job by Pergamon getting almost 4,000 kills. Mostly almost 1,000 from one unit. Okay, not almost, but very close. Pikeman. Insane. And look at this, 76561198888. That's a beautiful name there. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this battle, and I will see you next time on the battlefield.